Hello everyone, James Wilson here, and what I wanted to do is a trend video. This is for October 29th. This is my first trend video, and I'm going to compare the numbers in the states compared to last time. I know Florida is now technically a Biden state. Because of the polling. The polling is so close in Florida and Georgia. I might just talk about Florida and Georgia. I might go ahead and briefly talk about Ohio as well. Okay. And so I just want to go ahead and discuss these states first, and then we can go into Florida and we can go into Georgia, things of that nature. So we'll start with the state of Arizona. Last time, the Democrats had a 31,000 vote lead on Model Party, and that lead has now shrunk to 18,000. Okay, so it is trending right by 13,000. So that's good for the Republicans. Okay, and so when I first started this video back on the 27th, which is a Tuesday, Donald Trump the Republicans was losing by 61,000. Now it's down to 18,000. So it's getting a lot tighter. And with the election coming up, and we're in a pandemic, it's very possible Arizona can stay red. So this is looking very promising for the Republicans. So I'm going to go ahead and move on to Nevada real quick. In Nevada, you're seeing something similar. I first started this, Democrats had a 22,000 vote lead back on the 27th, and it just kind of went down little by little by little. Now, the Democrats have an 11,000 vote lead. So you have a little bit of mixture of mail-in voting, you have some in-person voting, and it's going to go down to the wire. And the way I kind of look at this state is, I don't know about the unaffiliated, but I do know that, Clinton did very well with Hispanics. And so I'm going to look at this like from a standpoint of whoever has the most votes at the end of the day wins my prediction, It's kind of cut and dry, because when you're not going to have this Republican surge come election day, because they're doing everything by mail-in ballots. They already have 77% of last elections already cast, so it's trending right. But it's like in a consistent base. So I think what I'm going to do with this state is that if the Republicans lead in Model Party, by the time I make my final prediction, I'm just going to give it to the Republicans. And if Democrats lead, I'm just going to give it to the Democrats. I'm trying to be non-biased here. Right now, Democrats have 11,000 vote lead. So moving on to the next state of Iowa. And in the state of Iowa, under Model Party, the Republicans are technically doing better than last time. Back in 2016, they had, Democrats had a 61,000 vote lead. Now it's down to, looks like 54,000 votes. Yeah, 54,000. So it trended right a little bit, not much. Yesterday was 58,000. Now it's down to 54,000. So it's trended right about 4 points. And if it continues like this, I still think he's going to win this state. He may not win it by quite as much as he did before, but he could win it by 4 or 5 points. And that's enough. He might do worse than last time. You have more voting here compared to here, and so. But when election day comes, you're going to have more people come and vote. Over half the ballots were cast. So at the end of the day, I still think Trump will win about 4 or 5 points. So, just based on the trends alone and the amount of voting. And so I'm going to go ahead and move on here. In the state of Minnesota. In the state of Minnesota, the Democrats have a 213,000 vote lead. That's 2,000 more than last time. I did look at it, it was 211,000 vote lead in all my videos. So I misread one of them. I think I said 201, but it was actually 211. So 213,000 vote lead for the Democrat. It's trending left. I mean, it's pretty much stabilizing in my opinion. But when you look at it, it's not really looking good for Republicans in the state of Minnesota. So probably leaning towards Biden in this situation. And Biden, I mean, Hillary won it last time, and Trump's down in the polls. So I'm kind of leaning towards giving the state to Joe Biden. Okay. And let's move on to the state of Wisconsin. All right, so in the state of Wisconsin, last time the Republicans were down 41,000. Well, that now they're down 33,000. Okay, and so it went from 50,000 on Tuesday down to 33,000. So it's trending right, and with the election coming up, the Republicans will get out and vote. Okay, I don't care about the cases of coronavirus. They're going to vote. And so I think, as I said in my last video, I think that 17% poll was a scare poll. Trying to get Republicans not to vote, not saying it's not, worth it, because we're down so many votes, and, so they know that they're probably losing the state. I mean, if you look at it from a numbers perspective, Republicans, it's trending right. Okay, and when you look at the percentages, you're looking at a 2.2% in favor of the Democrats. Last time, it was over 10%. So, and we're in a pandemic. So I mean, all the numbers favor Donald Trump. Okay, and I'm gonna go. As I said, I don't know how accurate Target Smart is, but the polls I know are inaccurate. So I'm going to rely on this data more than I'm going to rely on the polls. And so, yeah, 33,000 votes. It's easily. I mean, a couple days ago it was 50,000. So, I'm actually leaning towards Trump in this one, based on that. Pennsylvania is expected to go left again. They're all mail-in ballots. I mean, I really believe that it's just mainly mail-in ballots. So, yeah, 682,000 votes in favor of the Democrats by 37,000. I mean, I don't have a lot of information on this, but, it's not looking good. They're doing everything that they can to win the state. That's what that tells me. They're doing everything they can to win the state of Pennsylvania. And I know that the Democrats have been campaigning there a lot, and they're trying to get them to mail in their ballots. Okay, so I think I'd have to give it to Biden, even though I know that I know that they're going to come out in droves on election day to vote for Trump. So this could be made up. But 31.9% of the ballots already casted. That's like a third of them. And Democrats so the Republicans, they have to come out in droves on the election to beat Joe Biden in this state. And it's possible. It can happen. There's a lot of, he gained some support. I mean, when you look at the Amish, they supported him. So, I know that's like probably a small demographic, but every little thing counts. So, but I have to kind of lean it towards Biden, because he's down in the polls. Trump is down in the polls, and this is a huge margin. But these are just mail-in ballots. So, but as I said, I'm leaning towards Biden in this state as far as a prediction is concerned. But I'm going to go ahead and move on to North Carolina. Now, in North Carolina, if you look at it, the numbers haven't changed. Okay, there's still 119,000 vote lead. So sometimes the numbers just don't change. You haven't updated the state yet. Okay, but when you look at it compared to last time, around this time. The Democrats had just under a 300,000 vote lead. It looks like they had a 366,000 vote lead. No, 266,000 vote lead. Now the lead is 119,000. There is more voting, but you know, we were in a pandemic. So Republicans are overperforming last time. Okay? So that tells me, when I look at this, this tells me that, you know, we still have a chance, and Trump still has a chance to win the state. So yeah, 75.3% of the ballots were cast. There's going to be more on election day, and I do think there may be a little bit more voting as well compared to last time. So we're overperforming. I think we're doing good. I think we're looking pretty solid here. As I said, the unaffiliated, I'm not really sure how they're going to vote. But, you know, Biden is up by 0.7 in the polls, so it's like virtually a tie. So I'm giving it to Trump, you know, if I had to choose. So as far as a prediction is concerned. So in the state of Michigan, Michigan hasn't changed a whole lot. But Trump is down. The Republicans are down by about 99,000 votes. So it did go down from 101 to 99. It's about 2,000 vote difference. And when you look at it, the Democrats had a 19,000 versus 99,000, an 80,000 vote difference. This state could go either way. I mean, it's a pure toss-up. Half the ballots were casted already. To me, this is a toss-up. This is hard to predict, you know. So with that in mind, we're going to move on to Florida. So let me pull up. Okay, so this is very interesting. It had 191,000. If you look here, and I'll move this a little bit so you can see. 191,000 vote lead for the Democrats right there, if you see that number. Okay, and I'm legit on this site. This site, you have to really work with it. There's a lot of data points and a lot of information on it. When you look at this state now, Biden is now leading in the polls by less than a point now because it switched over to Biden. So this state's going to go switching all the time. Now back to, we could look at the Target Smart data for Florida, and when you look at it, it's really close, fairly close. The Democrats have a 57,000 vote lead. It's actually similar to last time, kind of. Democrats actually, I mean, Republicans are overperforming in this state if you really look at it that way. But I believe that this Florida early voting statistics is more accurate. But you have to know how to work the system, okay? Some people I've noticed online that they don't know how to work the system. So let's talk about a few things here, okay? First, let's talk about these three tabs here. You have in-person only, votes all, and vote mail only. So if you go in-person only, Trump is just dominating the state. Even Miami-Dade and Palm Beach County and Hillsborough County, he's in the lead in all the states. Okay? But that doesn't show you the whole story. I mean, Miami-Dade, yeah, he's winning by a little bit for in-person voting. But when you look at the mail-ins, okay, Biden's winning. Look at that. Okay? But you don't just look at in-person. You don't just look at the mail-ins. You have to look at all of them. And so the reason why I'm talking about this is that when you go on this state joeisdone.git, I mean, they're trying to make it, so let me show you something real quick here. Okay. When you go into this site, it populates this map here. And it's showing that Miami-Dade, Palm Beach, and Hillsborough counties are all in red. Okay, this is really bad up here in Jacksonville. He's actually losing but this is just in-person voting. This doesn't include the mail-ins. Okay, when you include the mail-ins, early vote all, it changes. Miami-Dade is blue. It's always going to be blue. Okay, Palm Beach is blue. Hillsborough is blue. You know, now on election day, this map should change on election day. After election day, there's going to be more Republicans that vote in the entire state. Okay, and you still have early voting going on. Okay, so when you look at all of the votes right now, and actually changed. The Democrats have a 184,000 vote lead. I will tell you this. On Tuesday, when I looked at this for the first time, was it Tuesday? No, it was Monday. Sorry, Monday. I looked at it. The Democrats had over a 300,000 vote lead. And that lead has shrunk every single day. And they're still counting mail-in ballots. They're still counting in-person votes. And so it's just shrinking every day. And I will tell you this. In 2016, Donald Trump was losing by 88,000 votes to begin with. Okay? And right now he's losing by 184. So, we have early voting today, and I believe tomorrow is the last day. I don't know for sure. But if we can bleed into that lead even more, if we can make it under 100,000, that would be good for Donald Trump. He has a chance. And with Republicans more likely to vote in person on election day, we should take the state. But there's no guarantee on that. Okay? Democrats are not just going to lay down and die on election day. I don't know when people say, oh, well, Democrats, they're not going to show up on election day. Well, yeah, they're going to show up on election day, people. Okay? But I do believe that Republicans are probably more likely show up more because Democrats are scared of the virus. Okay? So if we can get if we can get the total amount under 100,000, that's gonna make it to where it's feasible for Republicans. I mean, we won by 113,000 votes last time, and so I know Florida. I believe it's going to go red. I believe it's going to go Trump. But when you look at it, you cannot look at just the in-person only, because that's where it will show Miami-Dade, Palm Beach counties voting Republican. They're not voting Republican total. They're mailing in their ballots. Okay? And so, yeah, Republicans have a big lead in person. In mail-ins, Democrats have the lead. And so that's what I was talking about Pennsylvania. When you look at just the mail only, like in Florida, Democrats have a 634,000 vote lead. Well, in Pennsylvania, Democrats have a 682,000 vote lead. It's pretty similar, When you look at it that way, it's like, well, Florida can go red. Maybe Pennsylvania can go red as well, because, as I said, Pennsylvania is just mainly doing mail-in ballots. And I will say that some Republicans probably don't trust the mail-in. So I don't know. I mean, I'm just telling you that it's similar as far as the voting by mail in Florida compared to Pennsylvania. Looking at it, Florida, looking at all the votes, Florida had like 9.4 million votes last time, and in Pennsylvania had 6.2, I guess, 6.1. So, with Florida voting less by mail, it leads me to believe that Florida is going to go red and Pennsylvania is going to go blue. That's kind of how I feel right now, because the mail-in ballots, I mean, they help the Democrats, obviously. If they didn't have mail-in ballots, if it's just the same as last time, Republicans would tear them up, man. So, anyways, yeah, I'm leaning Florida to go red, okay, and Pennsylvania to go blue. That's kind of how I'm feeling. Now in Georgia, people are talking about Georgia. It's like even in the polls. When you look at it, it tightened up. So last time, Republicans had about 11% lead, maybe 11 to 12% lead. Now Republicans have a 6% lead. So, we're in a pandemic, so it's expected to have, but there's more voting, okay? And Republicans still have the lead by almost 200,000 votes, okay? Last time Republicans had a lead by more than that, over 200,000. So that's pretty expected, So I still think Georgia would probably go red. 76.5% of the ballots were cast. I do know that some of the, Georgia, the Republicans will show up on election day. I do believe that, but don't say it's 2-1. Maybe 55 to 60% of the votes go to Republican on election day, and 40 to 45% go to the Democrats. That's kind of how I'm feeling overall. Like maybe 55-45 in favor of the Republicans. That's a 10-point swing. That's kind of how I think it's going to go. I don't think it's going to be 67-33 in favor of the Republicans. I just feel that Democrats, they hate Trump that much. They'll show up on election day. Okay, just not quite as much as Republicans. So that's kind of how I feel about it. So let me know what you think about this video. It's a little bit longer than I wanted it to be. But at the end of the day, I do feel that Trump will win Florida, Georgia. Ohio is an interesting state as well, if you want to take a look at that real quick. Ohio, the Republicans have over 100,000 vote lead. It looks like 125,000 vote lead. Last time the Democrats had the lead, and we're in a pandemic. I'm very close to calling this state for Trump, like a safe red. Just because of the trends. When you look at the trends, it's trending right, and we're in a pandemic. If it's trending right, Trump won it last time, we're in a pandemic, I'm probably going to give it to Trump. And that goes the same as Texas. I already gave Texas to Trump, but I just want to show you the numbers real quick. Trump has over 1 million vote lead. Okay, the Republicans do, assuming that they all vote the same. Last time, the Republicans had less than a 500,000 vote lead. See how the difference is, and we're in a pandemic. So the voting is more consistent, but I don't see the Democrats out voting Republicans on election day. And when you look at the total casted votes, is 87.3. So there's going to be more voting. I hypothesize that maybe the Republicans realize that. That Texas could go blue, and so a lot of them decided to vote, so, but yeah, I have it safe red anyways. But anyways, like and subscribe to my channel. Any feedback would greatly appreciate it. Thank you.